Hello, I'm Ignacio Valdez. I'm the CEO of Astronaut LLC. You can see the astronautVista.com website here. This is an introduction to the Astronaut Client Installer and Session Manager. This is a novel application that's been developed for managing sessions with Astronaut Vista servers. First of all, you download the client installer from sourceforge.net. You can search for Astronaut Vista Client Installers, and you simply click on the link, and the download should begin. So simply save the file out, and on Firefox, it will download the client, and it'll appear in the download window. Then you simply double-click on the executable file and run it. The splash screen will appear, and you accept the defaults, agree to the license. Then the only piece of information that you really need is the IP address of the server. And we have a couple of cloud instances running, so we're going to go ahead and access the IP address of that server right here and copy it into using Control-V, Control-C, Control-V. Here's a list of all the things that Astronaut Client Installer installs, including the Session Manager, which is brand new. These are all client softwares that can be used to use the VistA system. You just accept the defaults. After that, next you have the option to start the SSH tunnel now. We'll show you a little bit later how to run without an SSH tunnel. And so now we've started the SSH tunnel. It starts maximized, then you minimize it, and now it appears there. In order to stop the tunnel, you simply close that session, and it will stop the SSH tunnel. So now we have Astronaut installed in the Astronaut clients installed in the Astronaut group folder. As you can see, all the clients are installed. The major one is TMG-CPRS. We'll be showing you uninstall a little bit later, but there's other clients that you can use with VistA. We'll be checking out the Session Manager today. As you can see, the default profile already exists, and that's the one that we're running right now. If you click on it, it loads all the environment variables as so. It'll bring up a window, and you can confirm that it has loaded the environment variables that you're expecting. And then you can, at that point, start up your SSH tunnel. We'll go ahead and close this one down, and we'll restart it by simply going to the Start menu and going to Astronaut SSH and starting it up, and there it is again. It starts minimized the second time. It also installs Astronaut SSH into the startup folder so that when you log into your ID, it will start up the SSH tunnel using the currently loaded defaults that the currently loaded variables. In order to change those, you can go to a different session. You can go ahead and create a different session. We're going to call this one Cloud 1, and we're going to go ahead and grab another IP address off of this one. This is an OpenVista. This is an Astronaut OpenVista instance. This is an Astronaut edition of OpenVista. This is not an official release of OpenVista from the MedSphere Corporation. So we put the IP address in there. Usually you're only going to be editing these two variables. However, you can run without SSH, and this Session Manager will support legacy communication between clients and a VistA instance that is without SSH tunneling. But the Astronaut uses SSH tunneling by default, but it can be bypassed using the Session Manager. So now we're going to load the profile that we just created, and it's started up the SSH tunnel. You can just minimize that, and it's the verification that the new variable's loaded. And now that's the default session. in order to so now all we would have to do in the future is simply run Astronaut SSH, and we will get the session managers. We will get the session variables that we're expecting. So right now we have two sessions going. SSH tunnels going. Let's go ahead and take one down, because it will only tolerate one SSH tunnel at a time. So now, if we want to go in and edit, now in order to change back to the defaults, we can click default, and there we are. The defaults are loaded, and we can start another SSH tunnel and with the defaults that we originally started with, or we can go and select the new one, and it will load the new ones, and then we start that tunnel. So what this does is that it allows you to reconfigure all the clients very easily and very simply and very quickly. So this is a great development for both users, developers, and educators in order to be able to manage your client connections with multiple servers. The client installer also includes the option of not having the session manager at all, and this is for the situation of enterprise users as well as student and educational type users, where the ability to change sessions and to be able to change the ability to have a session manager is not desired. So that's accomplished very simply by doing the usual installation, but then unclicking the session manager. It's a module, so that's removable, and you simply install it the usual way. And all of the programs are deselectable. We're going to go ahead and start the tunnel now. The tunnel starts up. So you go to the client and the clients, and as you can see, there is no session manager available. And yet the tunnel is pre-configured and is not easily. The tunnel is pre-configured and is not easily changed by end users. Once again, this is a feature that could be useful for enterprise users, educators, students, and any situation in which having a session manager would not be desirable. Servers. The final step is that we're to uninstall all this. We just click the uninstall link just as so. Now, Astronaut does not delete the profiles. They remain there. You can delete them one by one. For example, just simply by deleting that shortcut, that profile is gone. However, the uninstall does not delete the sessions by default. You have to manually delete them. That's in order to be able to upgrade it without destroying your profiles. Client variables shortcut, and this brings up the Windows system properties with the environment variables editor button right there. You click on that, and as you can see, there's the Astronaut profile variables that you can directly edit if you really want to, but it's probably better to just use the session manager to edit these. But that exists there, so if you really want to see what the variables are currently, then you can, and that's easily accessible through the Astronaut sessions client variable shortcut. So we hope you enjoyed this introduction to the Astronaut Session Manager. Again, you can download this from sourceforge.net. It is AGPL licensed. There's more information on the astronaut VistA.com website. Thanks so much.